What's going on, guys? It's GBP baby. Welcome back to another video. I hope everybody's doing well. Apologies for the late uploads. I've been very busy. And yeah, we've started the month of June now. I want to say a massive thank you to all the new subscribers I gained in May. We also had record views in May as well, so massive thank you for that. And it is non-farm payroll this week, meaning that all my trading I want to get done by Wednesday afternoon. ICT suggests this, and then I'll be out the charts on Thursday and Friday as we run into non-farm payroll. So quite a lot to look forward to. Obviously, we started a new month now, and we're going to start on the monthly and then work our way down. I do have some up-to-date range videos coming soon. I just need to find the time to post them. But for now, we're going to start the monthly, and then from then we can figure out where we want to see price trade towards. So as you know, we've keyed off this monthly bearish order block, a massive down month in May, which is nice to see. And now moving into the month of June, I would also like to see another down close month. So that means I need to start thinking about potentially making the high in the first couple of weeks of June, and then mostly expansion happening in the middle with hopefully a down close month. And I'd like to see us move down into this range of this wick right here. So yeah, there is also an implied fair value gap down here as well that we kind of wicked into last month. Sorry, not last month, in April. So I would like to see if price can get down into that. However, right now I am going to be looking at this May low from right here, and then this low as well. So I'm not going to mark anything out on the monthly. Actually, we will get these lows marked out because these are important sell stops. So let's get this, and then write monthly sell side liquidity, and we'll make that red, and then we can copy that and also paste that here, because these are both levels that I want to see price draw down towards as we move into June. So let's drop down to the weekly. Again, I would like to see a down close week. So that means I want to see the high get made on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday with non-farm payroll. I'd like to think that we can see some more expansion to the downside. Now, what I do believe is going to happen is they'll keep pushing and pressuring price to go higher on dollar, moving into Monday and Tuesday, and then not until Thursday or Friday will we start to see like some proper expansion to the downside. And then that's what I mean. This is when these lows here and here will start to get targeted. There's also a weekly fair value gap right here that needs to get traded into. So let's get that marked out. Weekly FVG. And then in terms of the highest I want to see price trade this week, it is going to be the 50% level of this wick. Because as you can see, last week we took out the previous week's high and low. So that means obviously when we do make that premium, that high of the week, preferably I'd like to think that this can provide resistance. So if we trade above this, we may be a little bit more bullish than anticipated, but ideally this will provide the resistance price needs to send price lower. So this is a weekly consequent encroachment. We'll get this marked out now. Weekly C.E. We'll move that to the right like so. And what you'll find last week as well is that we traded into this bearish order block and got a reaction. So both on this week when we traded into this bearish order block, we got a reaction lower, and then here we had a nice strong reaction again after taking out stops and closing lower. So that's why I want to see this range, because remember wicks are ranges too. I want to see this entire range provide resistance for price. And as we drop down to lower time frames, you'll see this range appear, and we can use that to help frame where we're expecting to look for selling opportunities on dollar, with obviously longs on the pairs. And then obviously we have this low right here to target, and considering it's non-farm payroll and we've got all sorts of politics and things going on around the world, I'd like to think that we can see some quite extraneous downwards price action towards that weekly fair value gap. Now if we do trade above this midpoint right here and we find support on it, whole nother story. I'd simply start looking for this rejection block level to get traded into and potentially these highs. But unless that happens, I'm happy to be bearish on dollar. And yeah, let's now drop down to the daily. So as you can see, we came up last week, ran out these relative equal highs quite nicely, then traded lower. Haven't quite taken out this low yet, but as I said, moving into Monday and Tuesday, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw another retracement into this range. So as price is in this range, I will be looking for like opportunities, so to speak. This should act as a bearish order block. However, I'm going to allow price to, trade right up to this midpoint. So let's just get that brought to the front. And you'll see that there is a daily high right here. So let's just get that daily high marked out, because price may want to grab stops above there for some kind of buy side liquidity, because for us to pair buy side with sell side, we need to grab those stops first, which is why I'm allowing this high to be targeted, because it's a daily high to grab stops and then potentially trade lower later in the week. Relative equal lows here and here, very nice. So I'd like to see those get swept. But like I said, moving into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I'd like to think that we can see price push on higher. Now, as you know, we don't really. It's harder to predict price, this early in the week because it's still Sunday. But once we have Monday's trading done, it'll be a lot easier to frame the week. But generally speaking, I want to see us trade up into this premium to offer selling opportunities for price to then send lower later on in the week. Let's now drop down to the 4 hour, and you can see we're in a consolidation right now. So what do I mean by that? Well, you can see a lot of back and forth price action. We're kind of range bound right now. I wouldn't be surprised if we stayed in this range moving into Monday. Completely fine. But again, buy stops right here. A nice fair value gap at that midpoint. That might be a nice premium for price to then turn around at. So definitely paying close attention to these levels right here. Make this yellow. But I'm only going to stay on the 4 hour right now just because it's Sunday and there's only so specific I can get with price until we've had Monday's trading done. So, that was not what I meant to click. I meant to click this. So yeah, definitely paying close attention to that. Obviously we have this range and relative equal lows. It's very well that Monday could come down and sweep these lows, but like I said, with non-farm payroll, they might want to delay it, and that's completely fine if they do. And yeah, that's going to be everything on dollar. But overall, I'm looking for this weekly fair value gap to get traded down into. Now, let's say Monday, Tuesday, we do trade lower and we start reaching to these lows early in the week. Then I'd probably expect a reversal on the Thursday. But like I said, we just have to wait till Monday. But generally speaking, I want to see a down close week, which means high made Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then downwards delivery for the rest of the week. So that's going to be everything on dollar. Let's now head over to GBP USD. We're going to start on the monthly here as well. And you'll see how we had a massive up close month. Very nice to see in May. So now what am I looking for? I'm looking for highs to get taken. So this high is going to be my target, my monthly buy side liquidity target. So I'm just going to thicken that up. And I'm going to put monthly. I always make that mistake. So that's what I'm looking for price trade into. And then obviously we have a nice bullish order block right here. So now this opening should be very sensitive to price. So if price does manage to get down here during the month of June, we know that this should be a nice buying opportunity to then send price into a premium. Another thing to note is that where are we coming from? We're coming from an imbalance that we've filled. So in the month of April, we came down, we filled this imbalance, volume still remains above, respecting the imbalance. So now we're going to some kind of premium, which is why I'm looking at this buy side liquidity to get tagged. And then we have some amazing relative equal highs up here. Now, I'm not going to talk about this too much, but with the elections and all sorts of stuff going on this month, this year, I wouldn't be surprised if we did start to see price really start to move. But generally speaking, right now, my target is this buy side liquidity and then into this range right here. And again, like I said, if price does manage to reach into that, this is a monthly bullish order block. So price should react very sensitively to that to look for buying opportunities. But like I said, ideally we don't even get down there. I'd like to think that we respect the range of this wick. I'll show you what I mean. So if I look at the midpoint of this, ideally this is the lowest we trade this month. But when we drop down to low time frames, hopefully we can find some PD arrays that price can respect in order for this to make sense. So let's now drop down to the weekly. You'll see we've been having loads of consecutive up close weeks. Again, ideally I'd want to see up close week again, especially with dollar. I want to see a weaker dollar. On GBP USD, we have some stops below here, a fair value gap as well. So in terms of a discount PD array for price to trade to, these lows are looking very nice. And then obviously we compare that then with these relative equal highs that we also have residing up here. So there's a lot of relative equal highs on pound. I do think in terms of where liquidity is residing, it's quite clear. Let's get this marked as weekly. But like I said, this fair value gap, I would like to think that the midpoint of that will get respected. So let's just make this a different color. And you'll see it pretty much lines up with the monthly bullish order block open. And I'm going to put weekly fair value gap. And it's the midpoint of this I'm watching, so this level right here, for price to key off to then send itself higher. So this is the discount PD area I'm watching, this is the premium, obviously both sides of this wick. But what you will find is that we failed to take out these lows last week, whereas dollar managed to take out that week's high. So let me show you more specifically. This high has been tagged here, but GBP never took out this low. So what does that mean? Well, GBP is either very bullish, which it is, or GBP is going to have to catch up and will run down, grab those stops, and then trade on higher. But as we drop down to the lower time frame and obviously let Monday trade, we can hopefully get a better look. So let's go to the daily now, and you'll see how price found support on this bullish order block. Very nice to see. So realistically, there's no reason for price to necessarily need to come back into this weekly fair value gap. Again, ideally it doesn't. I'm happy to see downwards price action on Monday and Tuesday, but I would like to think that this bullish order block will continue doing what it's doing in providing support for price to then shoot up higher as we move to later on in the week. So there is a rejection block level down here. We haven't quite traded into it right here. So this is a potential low of the week for GBP. Let's get that marked out, and I'm going to write daily rejection block. And we may find that price simply wicks down there later on, earlier on in the week to create the low. So let's just keep that marked out like so. We have this massive range as well. But like I said, if I'm expecting dollar to rally early in the week, we want to see some kind of downwards price pressure on pounds to go into some kind of sell side PD arrays. So let's drop to the 4 hour. You see we've been pressing higher and higher. There is a bearish order block here, which it looks like price is respecting right here. So you can see our volume is respecting that. So if price does want to trade on lower, I'm definitely watching this Friday low from here to potentially get traded into, and then I'll be thinking of any kind of long. So that's how I'm watching pound right now. Yeah, but like I said, if price does press on higher and run out these stops first, then I'd expect a reversal. But ideally, we do come lower Monday, Tuesday, and then, moving into that non-farm payroll, I'd then like to see the expansion. But obviously, let's just let Monday trade as we always do. Then Tuesday and Wednesday are going to be my main trading days to look for setups. But definitely watching this low, and then in terms of buy side targets, this weekly buy side liquidity right here. So finally, let's finish up on Euro USD. We'll start on the monthly here as well. Now you can see how Euro's in a disgusting consolidation. We have a bullish order block now that's formed on from April. So I'm going to do the same thing I did with pound and mark out the open of that. And this is now going to be a monthly bullish order block. Move that to the right, center, black. So if price touches this, I expect a large reaction to then send price obviously into the May high, and then I'm watching this high as well. So let's get these highs marked out as buy side liquidity or monthly buy side. Liquidity like so. And then we can drop down to the lower time frame and see how price is moving. Actually, before we do that, let me show you the midpoint of this. This is what we call mean threshold. This will be the very furthest I'm allowing price to go for me to be bullish, to remain bullish on a monthly level on Euro USD. So I'll just have that marked out just for reference sake, but I doubt and don't really want to see price get down there. So let's now go down to the weekly. You can see slight consolidation, wick down into this bullish order block last week. Very, doji looking wick. Again, relative equal highs up here. All amongst here. These are highs to get grabbed. I'd like to see price draw up into that. But in terms of a discount, remember, if we're expecting an up close week, we want to see we want to see the lows get made earlier on. We have this range to trade into, and then I'd like to see a reversal later on to trade on higher. So let's go to the daily, just because the weekly is not really giving us much to work with, other than this bullish order block right here that we have already traded into right here. But I'm happy for price to come back down there again to accumulate stops and orders or whatnot, to then again trade higher into these relative equal highs and work our way towards that monthly buy side liquidity target. Let me get these weekly highs marked out actually, just so that we have them. Like so. And then we'll go to the 4 hour real quick. Again, clear consolidation. But it'll be nice to see if we can see some lows get made earlier on, and then see a reversal to then run out our stops. So that's how I'm looking and moving into this week. Remember, non-farm payroll, so automatically off the bat we should go into this week with low expectations for like precision, and that means lower risk as well, guys. Obviously once Monday trades, we'll have a lot more idea of where price is likely to draw to and where we're building up orders and stops, but I hope that gives you a nice idea of where I'm expecting price to go and what I want to see happen. Now obviously if it doesn't play out, we will know it doesn't play out. For example, if we take out buy stops first, we know that it's going to be looking for sell stops later. It's as simple as that. But ideally, for it to go in line with how I want to see price deliver, I'd like to see us push on lower and then dollar, press on higher to then see downside delivery later on in the week. So that's going to be everything, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.